Lian Li's Vector V100 has gone on a little bit of a diet, and this is the outcome. For today's video, we'll be taking a look at the new Vector V100 Mini, which is essentially a microATX version of the original Vector V100 that launched for sale back in June this year. Like its elder brother, the V100 Mini is available to purchase with or without pre-installed ARGB fans and is targeted at the budget-conscious PC builder. Unlike the Vector V100, which is available in black or white, the V100 Mini is only available in black. Let's take a closer look at this case so as to see if it's any good. In terms of packaging, the Vector V100 Mini comes in a run-of-the-mill brown cardboard box with your usual product illustrations and descriptions on all sides. Accompanying the Vector V100 Mini is a single box of accessories as well as an instruction manual. Within the box of accessories, we get a thank you note like so. And this is accompanied by a whole bunch of screws, cable ties, rubber grommets for storage drive mounting purposes, as well as spare friction clips for the various panels of the case. Within the user's manual, we get illustrations on how to do cable management with this case, which is always appreciated in my book. With that, here it is, the Lian Li Vector V100 Mini unboxed. For this review, Lian Li's sent over the variant of the V100 Mini that comes with 4 pre-installed ARGB fans, that's also known as the V100R Mini. The case features a traditional layout with a chamber at the bottom for your power supply and storage drives, and is made of a combination of steel and plastic as well as 2 tempered glass panels. This being a fish tank style case after all, the V100 Mini comes with a front and side tempered glass panel for a 270 degrees view of your PC hardware components. Like the full-sized Vector V100, the left side panel features a gradient design with a plastic bottom border featuring some grooves for a touch of aesthetic flair, as well as an illuminated ARGB lighting strip that runs along the said border on the inside of the case. We'll be taking a closer look at this ARGB LED strip later in this review when I've done up a demo build with this case. I do think that this gradient aesthetic helps the V100 Mini stand out from amongst the competition. As can be seen, the front panel connectors of the case are located right below the lower edge of the left tempered glass side panel. We get 2 USB 3.0 Type A ports, a USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type C port, a 3.5mm microphone and headphone combo jack, a reset button, as well as a power button. Do note that the case does not come with a hard disk activity indicator light. The other side panel of the V100 Mini is a simple steel panel with ventilation openings right above the side intake fan openings and the bottom chamber housing the PSU and storage drives. I guess it's no coincidence here that the ventilation openings form the shape of the alphabet L, which is a nice aesthetic touch. Over on the top of the case, we get ventilation openings in the form of slats that span the entire length of the top panel, where it comes with an integrated dust filter. On the bottom of the V100 Mini, we get ventilation openings for the PSU's cooling fan, where Lian Li's also included a removable dust filter. We do also get 4 plastic feet with foam-like inserts. For the rear of the case, we get lots of ventilation openings, and it's great to see that the expansion slot covers are of the reusable variety, which is great to see on a case that's targeted at the budget-conscious demographic. Another plus point, the expansion slot covers actually use thumb screws instead of normal screws, which I definitely wasn't expecting to see with a budget-friendly PC case. With that, let's get the panels of the Vector V100 Mini. Lian Li's gone with a toolless design for the panels of this case, where you'll first have to remove the tempered glass side panel by undoing a thumb screw and prying the said panel off. The front tempered glass panel, side steel panel, and finally the top panel can all be pried off very easily thereafter. As mentioned earlier, the top panel comes with a dust filter, where it's the sort that's integrated into the panel and can't be removed. The dust filter for the PSU's cooling fan, on the other hand, can be removed by simply sliding it out of place. On a side note, if you're new to the ALK Tech channel, do consider subscribing so as to keep up to date with the latest releases in the PC hardware world. With that, let's talk about the cooling features of the Vector V100 Mini. As mentioned earlier, end users have the option of purchasing this case with or without pre-installed fans, where the variant that comes with 3 pre-installed side intake fans and 1 pre-installed rear exhaust fan is called the V100R Mini, which is basically the variant that I have here in this review. The vanilla V100 Mini, that is, without the R, comes with no fans at all. It's worth pointing out that unlike the full-size V100, the V100 Mini is only available in black. In terms of cooling hardware support, the side panel of the case has ventilation openings that support up to 3 120mm fans. Do note that due to space constraints, you won't be able to mount a 360mm or 240mm radiator on the side panel. As can be seen on the screen, we've got the 3 reverse blade ARGB fans that come included with the V100R Mini variant. The V100 Mini also comes with a single ventilation opening on the rear panel that supports a single 120mm case fan, and in the case of the V100R Mini with pre-installed fans, we get a single 120mm normal blade ARGB fan acting as a rear exhaust on the rear panel. For the V100R Mini, it's great to see that the 4 ARGB fans and the ARGB LED strip found within the case are already pre-daisy chained, so that you can hook up just one 5V ARGB connector and one 4-pin PWM fan header to your motherboard directly. In case you're wondering, here are the specs of the pre-installed fans that come included with the V100R Mini. Over on the top panel of the case, we get support for either 2 140mm case fans or 3 120mm case fans. AIO radiators wise, the V100 Mini supports either a 360mm or 240mm AIO radiator on the top panel. Finally, on the bottom panel of the case, right before where the gradient begins, we get support for up to 2 120mm case fans. In terms of physical dimensions, the Vector V100 Mini has the dimensions as stated on the screen. For you folks intending to use an air cooler for your processor, do note that the case supports CPU coolers of heights no more than 163.5mm according to the specs sheet for the V100 Mini. For your graphics card, the case comes with support for graphics cards with lengths of up to 415mm. We've also got a GPU support bracket that comes pre-installed within the case and is comprised of 2 parts, an upper bracket as well as a lower bracket. The upper bracket can be adjusted for position to suit motherboards that have their PCIe X16 slot in the first or second slot position, where it's held in place by a single screw. As for the bottom bracket, it's adjustable for height, where we've got a single thumb screw that's accessible from the bottom chamber of the case. You can adjust the bracket horizontally too, where you'll have to loosen these 2 screws so as to adjust the position of the bracket accordingly. Onto the motherboard tray. The Vector V100 Mini comes with support for motherboards with rear connectors. This means that motherboards from say ASUS's BTF lineup, Gigabyte's Project Stealth series or MSI's Project Zero lineup will be compatible with this case. In terms of PSU support, Lian Li indicates that the Vector V100 Mini has 200mm of depth clearance for a power supply, which is mounted in the bottom chamber of the PC case. Do note that this 200mm figure is for when you do not have storage drives mounted in the first position as indicated on the screen. If you do have a drive installed in this mounting location, the PSU depth clearance drops to 150mm. Moving on, like the full-sized Vector V100, the Vector V100 Mini also comes with a platform right here that allows you to display an item of your choice, such as a Labubu or whatever collectible figurines on vogue these days. For those of you intending to install 2.5-inch or 3.5-inch storage drives for your PC build with the V100 Mini, we've got a drive bracket on the rear of the motherboard tray that supports a single 2.5-inch SSD. And this is accompanied by drive mounts in the bottom chamber of the case. The number of drives that you can install will depend on the depth of the PSU that you'll be using for your PC build with this case. The front panel connectors of the case are pretty standard, I would say. We get a front panel USB 3.0 Type A connector like so. And this is accompanied by a USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type C connector. We do also get a front panel audio connector, in addition to a 9-pin front panel connector for the power button and reset button. I appreciate the fact that Lian Li's used a 9-pin connector rather than standalone connectors, which can be more fiddly to hook up to their respective header pins on the motherboard. This is a nice quality of life feature to have for sure. As mentioned earlier, with the V100R Mini that comes with pre-installed fans, the included fans are already pre-daisy chained together with the case's ARGB lighting strip, where we've got two 5V ARGB connectors where you can further daisy chain additional ARGB devices if need be, and not forgetting a 4-pin PWM fan connector. Let's do a demo build with the Vector V100R Mini. Getting a microATX motherboard, a MSI B650M Mortar Wi-Fi into the case was pretty easy. The motherboard standoffs are already pre-installed on the motherboard tray, and as can be seen, we get enough space for maneuvering things around. Installing the power supply unit was a cinch too. Just make sure that you've got a PSU that meets the size requirements. For this demo build, I'll be using a PSU from Lian Li's new RB lineup of budget-friendly semi-modular power supply units. Specifically, I have on hand the 750W RB0750B, and it measures in at a depth of just 150mm, where it fits really easily into the V100 Mini. I really like the cable management system that the RB lineup of PSUs come with, where you get Velcro straps and a cable channel on the back of the PSU to make things look just that little bit neater. In case you're wondering, the RB0750B is available to purchase for a price of $69.99 US. CPU cooling wise, Lian Li sent over their new HydroShift 2 LCDS 360CL AIO CPU cooler. The HydroShift 2 LCDS uses a 360mm radiator, which I've managed to mount pretty easily on the top panel of the V100 Mini, and we catch a glimpse of the three Uni Fan CL Wireless fans that come included with the 360CL variant of the HydroShift 2 LCDS. While we're still on the topic of cooling, I'll be installing two reverse blade Uni Fan CL Wireless 120mm case fans on the bottom panel to serve as intake fans. Again, these are the same fans that are found on the HydroShift 2 LCDS that I've used for this demo build, which I guess are a great accessory with the Vector V100 Mini, in that the Uni Fan CLs are Lian Li's budget-friendly offerings in their case fan lineup, where they feature support for Lian Li's proprietary L Wireless ecosystem and the L Connect 3 app. We get subtle ARGB LED strips along the edges of the fan frame, which is a nice touch, and we'll see them in action in the aesthetic review section of this review. The graphics card for this demo builds a MSI GeForce RTX 5060 Ti Gaming Trio OC16G, where it measures in at 300mm by 125mm by 44mm and fits very easily into the case. Do note that if you're intending to install a very thick graphics card, say one that occupies more than 3 slots for instance, you might not be able to install case fans on the bottom of the case as a result. Moving things along, and with the demo build nearly completed, it's a good time to talk about cable management. The Vector V100 Mini comes with cable management openings in all the right places to make cable management just a touch easier. And over on the rear, I appreciate the inclusion of strategically placed Velcro straps to help guide cables along to where they need to go. I didn't put too much effort into cable management for this demo build, but I do think that it still looks pretty decent, all things considered. And with that, here's a completed demo build with the Lian Li Vector V100R Mini. In terms of thermal performance, I did a quick performance benchmark with the Vector V100R Mini's demo build, where you can see the specs of the said build on the screen. With F123's in-game benchmark, where I ran a 5-lap test for around 9 minutes in total, the Ryzen 5 7600 processor in the demo build achieved an average CPU temperature of around 54.6 degrees Celsius, while the RTX 5060 Ti Gaming Trio OC 16G achieved an average GPU temperature of 67.1 degrees Celsius and an average GPU memory junction temperature of 65.1 degrees Celsius. These results were achieved in a non-air conditioned room with a temperature of around 30.1 degrees Celsius. A pretty decent set of results, I must say, considering that the demo build was tested in a non-air conditioned room after all, though of course, the Ryzen 5 7600 is a pretty easy processor to cool, especially with a 360mm AIO, which is kind of overkill, and the RTX 5060 Ti Gaming Trio OC 16G has a pretty large GPU cooler as well. The idle temperatures and estimated noise levels with the demo build are as per what you see on the screen, and for the thermal tests, I left the fan curves on their stock settings without any tweaks. Naturally, your thermal performance with this case will vary, especially if you're using different hardware from the demo build in this video. To sum up, the Lian Li Vector V100 Mini retains all the plus points of its bigger brother, the OG V100, and definitely delivers on its value proposition as a budget-friendly fish tank style PC case. It's great to see that Lian Li still manages to deliver on the build quality and features that one would come to expect from a Lian Li PC case in spite of the cheaper price tag, where fit and finish is good, the gradient aesthetic and the integrated ARGB lighting strip do help the V100 Mini to stand out from the rest of the competition in the microATX space, and thermal performance is pretty decent as well. Also, I really like how the GPU support bracket design has been improved over the one found in the original V100, where I did have some compatibility issues that you can learn more about by checking out the video review that I did for the original V100 PC case. The MSRP for the V100 Mini varies according to region, For you folks based in the US, the V100 Mini that doesn't come with any pre-installed fans has a MSRP of $49.99 US, while the V100R Mini, that is, the variant that comes with 4 pre-installed ARGB fans like the one that I have here, has a MSRP of $64.99 US. For the rest of the world, the V100 Mini goes for a price of $44.99 US, while the V100R Mini has a MSRP of $59.99 US. I'm guessing that the higher prices in the US are due to tariffs. With that, thank you so much for watching, hit the like button and get subscribed if you've enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys around the next time.